Hey guys, Breakman's here, and it's time to do another Z reviews. Now, who doesn't remember the 80s? Well, besides people that were born in the 90s or something like that. Anyways, the point is, the 80s were a great era for video games. I mean, we had a lot of titles come out then, and they were pretty kick-ass. Now, unfortunately, the 80s are gone, but they are not forgotten, as is evidenced by today's review, Retro Game Challenge for the Nintendo DS. Now the point of this game is that you are sent back to the 80s by Game Master Areno. Oh. And there you have to play these 80s style games in order to get back to your own time. But you have to complete these different challenges. Now, I gotta say, even though I haven't made that big a dent in the game so far, it's definitely nice to kind of get back to the classic 80s style of gameplay. In some of the games, according to a friend of mine who also has the game, there's a couple of shooter games which are kind of styled like Galaga, so that's cool. There are a couple of ninja platformer games, there's a couple of racing games, and there's even a mini RPG style game. So, that's pretty cool to have those different kind of games in one deal. There are also magazines within the game that will kind of give you tips and cheats for the different games. And while you're playing the game, up top you can have like little memos to yourself on the lower screen. You can just kind of say, okay, hey, to do this cheat code, well, you put in this sequence while you're paused, or something like that. And once you beat the game challenges, you can play that particular game in free play mode. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, there's definitely a good appeal for nostalgia fans. While these aren't a lot of the classic games that we know, it's in those kind of styles. And also, apparently, from my research, this is based on an actual show in Japan called, what was it called? Game Master CX. Not Game Master, Game Center CX. So it's pretty cool. And apparently, according to the I could have had this prepared in advance, but where would the fun in that be? Apparently, this retro game master, everything that was in Japan, might be coming to the U.S. Ooh. And I gotta say, I would be interested in seeing that show. Seeing a guy playing these retro games and just kind of getting that little bit of nostalgia. Because, I'm a gamer, and I still feel that without some of these old school games, we wouldn't have the advanced ones that we have today. So, what is my final recommendation for Retro Game Challenge? It's definitely an interesting game, so if you're into the nostalgia factor, definitely check this out. You might have a bit of a hard time finding it, but trust me, it'll be worth the wait. So that's going to do it for Z Reviews. Thanks for watching. May your save file never be corrupted. Good night.